food on the table, something most Canadians take for granted every day. But for millions of people in this country, there's no such guarantee. An estimated 4 million Canadians, including 1.4 million children, struggle to access healthy food.
Household food insecurity is a growing problem in this country, made worse from the economic fallout from the global pandemic and skyrocketing food prices, which in 2022 are projected to increase by another 5%.
And yet, as many Canadians struggle to put food on their tables, food overproduction and food waste are rampant in this country's food system.
36 million tons of food is wasted in Canada every year as retailers and consumers throw away surplus food and unwanted food rots in farmers' fields. In total, the value of that wasted food is estimated at almost $50 billion annually.
The modern food system, designed for decades to meet consumption needs at any cost, gives rise to vast overproduction with a huge toll on the environment.
Food waste squanders the resources used to produce, distribute, and store food, contributing to unnecessary water usage and greenhouse gas emissions. Almost 60 million tons of CO2 emissions are attributed to food waste in Canada every year.
Canada's wasteful, linear food system, which moves food from production to processing to consumption to disposal, wastes enormous resources and has a devastating effect on our planet.
At Enactus OC, we believe it's time to shift to a circular food system where surplus food fit for consumption is used to feed those in need instead of being discarded.
And we've created a social enterprise project to do just that, one with real benefits for our community, local businesses, and the environment.
Our project started with a troubling observation in the beautiful apple orchards that populate our Okanagan Valley. At the foot of these apple trees lay thousands of unwanted apples left to spoil and rot.
Food waste was right at our feet. But this is not a problem limited to the orchards of the Okanagan. Every year in Canada, 500 million apples go to waste for one purely aesthetic reason. They simply don't fit the grocery store appearance standard.
Even mildly misshapen apples fall out of the food system as waste, forcing farmers to either pay for the disposal of unwanted imperfect apples or just let them rot in the fields.
We asked, what if we could transform this waste into a healthy, edible snack to address food insecurity in our community?
So we launched a social enterprise dedicated to salvaging these unusual, unwanted apples to reduce food waste, an agricultural version of upcycling.
Our first initiative, Fruit Snaps, worked with Okanagan farmers to rescue these unwanted apples and create delicious, shelf-stable apple chips. Through a partnership with the North Okanagan Valley Gleaners, a not-for-profit dedicated to alleviating hunger, we created an innovative way to dehydrate the rescued apples and create nutritious snacks.
We then donated the fruit snaps to breakfast and lunch programs at local schools, to food banks in our community, and even to developing countries, including Ukraine, Guatemala, Armenia, and North Korea.
To meet the growing demand, we've continued our work with the Gleaners, refined our production process, and dramatically increased our production capacity to expand our apple chip donations.
During this year's operation, we have donated over 38,000 servings of apple chips, saved 35,000 pounds of apples from going to waste, and diverted 70 tons of CO2 emissions.
And we've saved water too. By repurposing these unwanted apples and the 125 liters of water that each one requires through its life cycle, we have conserved over 13 million liters of water.
As we look to expand the impact of our project, we plan to collaborate with Gleaner facilities and Enactus teams across Canada. We have already started work with the second facility, the Oliver Gleaners, and next year when we add an additional 3 Gleaner locations, We will be producing over 200,000 apple chip servings a year to help feed those in need.
We will save over 210,000 pounds of apples from going to waste, conserve 78 million liters of water, and divert 420 tons of CO2 emissions.
Following our success with fruit snaps, we turned our attention to a second product, apple juice. Using those beautiful, imperfect apples, we created a high-quality apple juice, one that featured an extended shelf life and a compelling social benefit story.
The value proposition resonated with retailers and customers, allowing us to pay farmers for the apples that would have rotted in their fields.
Our early success with the apple juice led us to formally brand and launch the Unusually Good Food Company, an organization dedicated to doing some good with those unusual apples to help reduce food insecurity and fight climate change.
We designed brand new packaging and retail point of purchase materials to reflect our mission, which helped us to expand our distribution to 13 retail locations across 5 BC cities. So far this year, we have generated over $15,000 in revenue, a 175% increase over last year. Based on outstanding feedback from retailers, we expect to continue this revenue growth next year.
When I had an opportunity to try the juice, it was just like having a piece of apple pie. Just unbelievable quality. But the part that I like about it the most is it's young people giving back to our community, which is what I should have been doing a long time ago. Producing a product that is not only quality, but the fact that they support our children, the meals program and the food banks with their apple chip program is just phenomenal.
With 4 Okanagan College campuses, we're able to use each location as a warehouse to restock retailers, distribute online orders, and manage our inventory efficiently.
And there's a third product on the horizon. As part of our continuous improvement process, we saw an opportunity to repurpose the apple pomace byproduct from our juice-making operations and produce apple-scented candles.
We are currently launching this new project to take advantage of this byproduct synergy. With the goal of commercializing the candles later in 2022, we are on track to achieve a zero-waste social enterprise.
With a thriving, sustainable business model in place, we started looking for new ways to scale our community support.
So we forged new partnerships with our local school district and Food for Thought to increase our apple chip donations.
We run a backpack program and a breakfast program to support some of the over 5,900 children in the central Okanagan that are at risk of food insecurity. The Unusually Good Food Company has been a tremendous supporter of our Starfish Backpack program. We deliver a breakfast program to over 33 schools, which encompass Lake Country, Kelowna, and West Kelowna. By putting that nutritious fruit, apple chips, into those backpacks and sending that food home has been so helpful in providing children with good nutrition when they're not in school, because we all know that hunger doesn't take the weekend off.
By utilizing these distribution networks, we have been able to supply our nutritious apple chips to 51 schools, representing 22,000 students.
We've even become involved with educators, collaborating with 2 schools to launch a grade 5 initiative that teaches kids about social, environmental, and economic issues in our community. As part of the program, these future changemakers participated in field trips to local apple orchards where they picked over 5,000 pounds of apples.
We then dehydrated those apples and converted them into apple chips, which students proudly distributed around their school. Our program culminated with classroom visits by our Enactus team members to discuss environmental sustainability and social entrepreneurship.
My class and I got to pick apples for a field trip and then were given juice to sell. Me and my friend got to hand out apple chips at school.
2 schools even started their own social enterprises by selling Unusually Good apple juice and generating funds for their student lunch programs.
Next year, we plan to deliver our social entrepreneurship education program online to reach over 50,000 Canadian students using an existing project's infrastructure.
At Enactus OC, our unusually good mission is to protect the environment, ensure no child goes hungry, support local farmers, and inspire the next generation through social innovation.
We're making change, one apple at a time.
This has been a challenging year in British Columbia. Wildfires raged through the Okanagan. Entire regions of the Fraser Valley were swamped by floodwater, all amidst a global pandemic and major social upheaval.
Together, as a community, we have had to overcome many difficulties, and we have shown great strength and resiliency.
This year, all of our Enactus OC projects impacted over 22,000 students and helped feed thousands within our community and abroad. Our apple recovery and transformation initiatives helped divert over 35,000 pounds of waste and saved over 13 million liters of water.
And through our educational programming, we're not only driving change ourselves, but inspiring others to do the same.
Our team and our community have come together to drive positive change.
Because we believe success is not about what you accomplish in your life, it's about what you inspire others to do.
I have the power to reduce food inequality.
I have the power to support our community.
I have the power to help the environment.
I have the power to empower students.
At Enactus OC, we are empowering communities to create change.